Hey, it's Tammy. I thought I'd take a little time to talk about migraines. I hear about them a lot. There's a lot of things I see on Instagram, people dealing with chronic migraines, cluster headaches, and they're just absolutely miserable. And these are things that'll knock you out for days. I know. I've had my own fair share. I still can get them. However, it is possible to adjust yourself or adjust your personal chemistry in order to at least manage. I like to say perfection, everything is perfect in its own way. You know, as far as a migraine is concerned, trust me, I mean, I've been down where I was, in bed for almost 4 days, and it was just unbearable. That's when I really stood up and decided it was time to do something. And like I say, I'm not the best. I should be better. There's that should word. But there's just some, I mean, with everything that I've got going on, and as excited as I am to be able to do as much as I do, there's just some days that, the attention doesn't go into 100% of feeling victimized by pain. And I don't mean any disrespect to anyone when I say that. So migraine occurs differently in many people, but the bottom line is it is a neurotransmitter imbalance. It is generally linked to serotonin spikes. It can cause tinnitus. It obviously causes visual and auditory issues. It can cause, besides headaches, generally on one side, the pain in the head, like I said, nausea, vomiting, where you just want to sit in the dark. You don't want to do anything because you can't do anything. It can even cause vertigo. That was something I just found out. That was a little bit surprising to me. I was not aware of that. And when I had been repeatedly going to see my doctor to try and figure out what the heck was going on, I was told, and I was telling them about the vertigo. At no point in time did they ever link these two for me. And that was just so discouraging. But my personal disclosure is that I had been using one particular oil for way too long. And so there are ways, like I say, to regulate and offset and kind of help restore balance. And now I don't get them. If I even so much as remotely begin to feel anything come on, I just go for the oils. And again, it keeps me paying attention to my body. It keeps me changing my oils so that I don't stick with the same one. I'm just as human as anybody else. I am only here for so long, and due to my epigenetics, and the way I really work to keep myself as balanced and stable as I can. Again, I'm human, and there's perfection in everything. So I say that with as genuine as I can possibly say it. I have spent too many years wishing I was perfect. And what it took me was to actually understand that perfection is in this moment. What does this have to do with migraines? Well, the fact is that when I get a migraine, or I've had migraines, the perfection to it helped me to look at the whole picture, both physically as well as chemically, because I wanted to understand. I want to understand this so badly because I want to be able to help people. I can't just learn this through reading and treating everybody the same way, because everyone's reasons for having, and what's linked to their particular migraine is going to be different from person to person. Because I believe in bioindividuality, it's very important for me to understand what is going on within me so that I can begin to make adjustments and speak about it in ways that aren't being spoken about. I used to joke around telling a friend of mine that I was God's test monkey, because everything that I have possibly, been exposed to and have gone through, I've been able to regulate and manage through the use of oils. I don't take any medications at this point, and this isn't to say pharmaceuticals are bad. It's just that I have no use for them. Um, I have taken medications, and I have also modified their reactions through the use of the oils, and I have had to come off of the medications because I didn't have use for them any longer. Pardon me. So that said, when it comes to migraine, like I said, generally the school of thought is a migraine is a serotonin spike. And I've talked to several people that they know that if they drink ginger tea, they can tend to ward off the onset of a serotonin spike or a migraine. However, depending on the circumstances, it might be that something goes on that offsets the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, in other words, stress, that throws the entire neuroendocrine system out of balance. And now at some point you're going to have a spike in your, now as the body's trying to regulate itself, because that's what it's doing. I really want to emphasize this, that even though a migraine sucks and it's painful and it's damaging to days, it is the body trying to heal itself. It is a healing crisis where the body is trying to regulate the chemistry, and it doesn't have the information that it needs to regulate this chemistry. So to immediately start off with ginger, you feel something coming on, I would reach for the ginger. It could be a ginger root. I know that you can buy it grated in a jar. You could just eat it by the spoonful. If you can't do that, I'm talking gallons of tea, because the tea is very diluted. The oil in the tea is very diluted, or just gnaw on the root. And you can also get it as an essential oil. That being said, a drop would be enough to help stabilize things. Spanish marjoram is another one that actually works directly on the hypothalamus. Again, I don't really want to work too much with specifically one neurotransmitter, because once you work with one, you're working with all of them, even though it's not directly related. That's a really important piece to remember. So helping to keep that body regulated, giving it the right instructions so that it can continue to regulate itself is probably the best thing you can do. Other factors that go into migraines, we know that they are hormonally related. Estrogen, high estrogen that's not being metabolized properly, which means through the liver, can increase histamine levels, and those two factors alone can cause a migraine-like headache. And so being able to regulate your estrogen levels, and I don't mean by going and, there are herbs that you could take. Ashwagandha is a really good one to help restore balance. It's an adaptogen that helps to restore balance to the endocrine system. Maca is another one. Essential oil wise, I would encourage chamomile romaine for the metabolism of estrogen. Now, mind you, citrus aurantium, which is bitter orange, helps to stimulate serotonin. It also helps with the metabolism of estrogen. That said, I don't recommend the bitter orange for, in this case, because you don't want to cause the serotonin levels to go up any further. You don't know really what's going on. You don't know which chemical it is that's causing the migraine. So again, this is where I have to emphasize caution. So if you suspect that it's a hormone level, chamomile romaine would be really nice to use, because number one, it helps to reduce the anxiety from high estrogen levels. It helps to reduce the anxiety from high histamine levels, which when one goes up, the other one goes up. A good indicator, if it is estrogen, would be if you have a tendency to have fungal infections. Because histamine, estrogen go up, yeast goes up. So, even though we think these are migraines, they're called migraine-like headaches because there's different chemistry involved. Definitely use the ginger if you've got nausea going on. But again, that one particular oil alone will make a difference with regards to helping to ease. If you combine that with marjoram Spanish, now you're helping to bring those levels down and help to regulate the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. If you suspect it's estrogen and histamine, taking quercetin as a supplement, as well as including the ginger to help keep the digestive system working. So there again, I want to say that there's a great deal of possibility when it comes to regulating migraines and not having them, put you out on your back for days and dysfunctional and not being able to take care of your family and go to work and do whatever else. I mean, granted, it's also a reminder of the body that it's going to be really important for you to find other ways to self-soothe and help de-stress yourself instead of taking it all in. That's what we do, is we internalize these things, we take it all in, and then it causes everything to go askew. So in addition to asking for chemical assistance, it's also reminding you that, hey, look, we need to figure out a different way of going through life. You can muscle, you can strong arm your way through life and white knuckle life and do everything that you can do to make ends meet and take care of the family, but learning how to delegate, learning how to ask for help, learning how to ask for time for yourself. These are all important components too. And even though I did want to, this is about migraines, that's what a migraine is. It's a way to stop thinking, and it's a way to just be with yourself and love on yourself. Even if it is a migraine-like headache. And cluster headaches. I will say this, that raw cannabis is another way of helping to regulate the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. And I mean raw. I don't mean smoking it. I don't mean buying the edibles that you can eat in those states that do provide them. I'm not talking about purchasing CBD oil. I'm talking about getting the real plant and eating it. And the reason I say that is because the full raw plant has the fatty acids that activate those endocannabinoid receptors. I'm not a proponent of, being stoned. I don't like the psychoactive effects. So it's, if you have access to it, if you live in a location that allows you, to get it, or like I say, you have access to it, eating the plant, it doesn't take a lot, will actually help relieve an extraordinary amount of pain. Then there is one other oil that does have the beta-caryophyllene, which is a cannabinoid that will help again with the regulation of the endocannabinoid system and the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, and that is an oil called copaiba. Copaiba has, like I said, has the beta-caryophyllene in it, as does the chamomile romaine. So the combination of those three, the marjoram Spanish, the copaiba, and the chamomile romaine, in addition to ginger, either in that blend or as an edible, food, then you would be able to really, really help regulate the migraines and help keep the body's chemistry in sync as you pay attention to the what your body's actually needing, and not overdoing it and not strong arming your way through life. So if you have any questions about this, by all means let me know. Contact me via my email, and until then, I appreciate you joining me. Have a great day.